afternoon.
Welcome to the Must Love Yarn podcast. We're back.
We're back. And we're back a day early, but you won't see
Yes,
this until regular
you won't see
time
it till
anytime.
Friday.
But it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
What's the date? The 27th?
27th, and March goes marching along.
Oh my gosh. What? Monday is the first day of April?
Yep.
April Fools on a Monday?
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Ha,
mean.
ha.
That's just mean.
Ha, ha.
Thankfully, nobody really plays pranks on me anymore, but I remember that in school.
I was a prankster.
Of course you were.
So, does that surprise
That
anybody?
does not surprise me at
Surprise
all.
anyone? Best prank ever. And then we'll get into like the real stuff about, who we are and what this is. This is not actually a podcast about pranks. It's a podcast about yarn and spinning and knitting and fiber things.
Crocheting. I have some crocheting.
No, just kidding.
What?
Crocheting? No, just kidding. So podcast from our yarn store, Must Love Yarn in Shelburne, Vermont.
Yes.
And I'm Angela.
And I'm Kelly.
And you can find me out on social media, Instagram and Ravelry as Junior Bird Kid.
And you can find me on Instagram as Kelly O Spins, and you can find me on Ravelry as Kelly Spins.
Yep. Okay, so back to pranks.
Back to pranks. Best prank.
Prank real quick, and then we'll do pick of the week.
Okay.
Best prank ever. A friend of mine and I in high school. We took cotton balls and we dipped them in chocolate, and they look exactly like bonbons. And we passed them out to people at school. It was awesome. Because you have two types of people who eat chocolate bonbons, right? You have the person that puts the entire thing in their mouth. And then you have the person that tries to bite it in half and eat a little bit at a time. Neither of which works if you're trying to eat a cotton ball.
Oh my god.
Best prank ever.
That's pretty funny.
So that was one prank. Maybe should I share the other prank? Yeah, I will. Since we're tired, it's totally seasonally appropriate.
Okay.
It's first on Monday. So when I was in high school, I played softball. I was our starting center fielder. I was also our leadoff batter. And this was a year when we were a state contention team. So, pretty high level of play. And so we decided to play a prank on my softball coach. So I had a bunch of teammates in on it. And actually the trainer, so we went into the training office, and they gave me one of those like giant braces that you have to put on your leg, like if you rip your ACL.
Oh god.
And so we put that on and put crutches on, and then we went down to practice, and I was like, oh god, coach, I have some really bad news for you.
Oh my god.
I was in gym class and I stepped on a ball and I ripped my ACL. And it was rainy, so we were having an indoor practice that day. And so all we hear is he's like, okay, we'll just go sit on the bleachers. And we hear him go into the men's locker room, and like things just starting thrown around, and he's yelling and he's cursing and he's just like blah, 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 blah. So I'm loving it, right? So I'm just sitting back, la 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 la. And then partway through practice, I get up on my crutches and I hobble into the women's or girls locker room, and I take all of this stuff off, and I walk out, and I'm like, hey coach, and he turns around and I'm like, it's a miracle, I can walk. Oh, and he didn't know whether to like curse me out or to like cry or to laugh.
Oh my god.
He had a good sense of humor about it, kind of, but anyway, that was also a fun prank.
That's funny.
I'm horrible.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty funny. He was not a happy camper when he thought his center fielder was out for the count for the rest of the season. Yeah.
Nope. All right.
Okay, so enough with Angela's pranks. My mom watches this, and she's just going to be rolling her eyes. I mean, she knows about.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knows about the cotton ball one. We didn't do that at our house. She knew about the faked injury one. Sorry. All right. Our pick of the week.
We have a pick of the week.
Focus.
We have a pick of the week that's actually going to be a really nice spring to summer piece.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, you can use the yarn for whatever you want. And it is fingering weight, so you could actually use it if you wanted to do, it'd be a lot of yardage to do the shift cowl, but it has that kind of look of spin cycle yarn, but it's cotton. So I'm going to show you the pattern. So this actually, this pattern comes on the ball band of the yarn. And you can see the variation, the color variation. So it's a gradient, and they're all a little bit different. Some are more gradient and some will change color. I don't know if it matters right side and wrong side, but which is nice. But it's all garter and stockinette, and is it garter or is it reverse? Nope, it's all stockinette and reverse stockinette panels. So it's really easy. It would be a great travel project, and it's one skein. So the skeins are huge, and we have lots of colors. So this it's called KFI, or Knitting Fever Painted Lace. That's what the ball band looks like. And let me give you the details, and then I'll show you the colors. It's 100% cotton. It's 200 grams, 874 yards. So lots of yardage on here. It's basically the equivalent of 2 skeins of a fingering weight yarn put together into one ball. And they're really fun. So, and you can see there's a pattern knit up, and
nice.
So the pattern is on the ball band. So when you get these, you just pop the ball band off and you've got your pattern, you're ready to go.
Well, and that also shows how simple the pattern is if it can fit on the ball band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, not simple in a bad way, but just
no. I know exactly what you meant. So we've got 6 colors in stock. They retail for $30 a skein, which is great for as much yardage as you're getting. 874 yards. That's a lot.
That's a lot of yardage.
So the one that our pattern is made up in is this one. It's the purples, but there's some really, really fun ones too.
As I say, that one is subtle enough you could almost do like a summer t-shirt if you didn't mind funky.
Yep.
Funky, like a top down and the round.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
You need, for depending on the size that you wanted to make. If you had two skeins, 3 depending on if you need larger sizes, but you could easily do some summer tops, a little summer cardigan, like the featherweight would be fun. You'd have to play around a little bit whether you alternate skeins, if you want the color to be a gradual, or whether you just kind of pick up and you start light to dark and then dark to light. So you could play around with it, and it'd be really pretty. But yeah, so this does come with the shawl pattern. So this is our pick of the week this week.
So let's do a coupon code. Weekly pick spring.
Weekly pick spring.
Spring.
Because we're hoping spring is coming. Fingers
crossed. It's coming.
So that is our pick of the week this week.
Awesome.
100% cotton. So for anybody who lives in the South or can't work with wool, there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. And pretty shawl. I'll hold that a little closer so you can see what the pattern looks like.
Yeah, it's super pretty.
Yeah, super simple but really, really pretty. Just a little bit of detail.
Like the perfect type of thing to take, like if you go into a restaurant, like if you're a client and you go into a restaurant, they're always air conditioned, they're always super cold.
Yeah, they are.
Just to throw on your shoulders, particularly if you have a tank top on or something.
Yeah.
That's sleeveless.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you were wearing a finished object.
I am wearing a finished object. I already have to wash it and block it again because I wore it a ton while I was away. But I did it, guys. I finished Ingrid. So Ingrid, it's an Isabel Kramer pattern, and I made it out of the dyed Gilpin Lolland yarn. It's a sport weight yarn, and it's a little bit big. But it's like comfy big. It's not like ridiculous. It just looks oversized, and I did make it long. I probably made it a little bit too long, so I might do some sweater surgery on it eventually. But I don't know. I'm gonna block it again and wear it some more and then decide. But yeah, I got it done, and it is really comfortable. It's a really nice, super soft. The yarn is beautiful knit up.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Thanks.
I mean, I saw pictures before you left.
Yeah.
But looks good. It's awesome in picture. Didn't you get to show it off to Dyed Gilpin?
So she was with another customer when I went into the booth, but somebody who was working there saw it.
Nice.
So I was like, I finished it. So,
Yay.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
So I'm wearing Snug. I haven't worn it in a while. And I realized I actually have hydrangea shawl in my bag as well, and I was like, I can't like wear the same shawl that I've worn for like the last 7 podcasts. I have to wear something different.
That's really funny.
So I was gonna wear my boxy, and I was like, no, you've worn that a lot lately too. Like, wear something else. You've got all these hand-knit sweaters. Isn't that weird though? You get like your favorites, and then you just wear them over and over and over again.
I know. Yeah.
Despite the fact that you're gonna make or are making more sweaters.
I know.
So I have like 3 more sweaters on my
Oh my gosh.
on my to make list, like upcoming projects. Apparently,
I do too.
all I'm knitting is sweaters.
Yeah, I have a lot. I've got 1, 2, 3, and then a vest. 3 sweaters, yeah. 4 sweaters and a vest. So yeah.
I have 4. One of them's for a little person.
Yeah.
I have to like add in a hat or something in there. I need to have a finished something or other.
Yeah.
That's the only downside with sweaters. It's like you're just doing the same thing week after week.
Yeah.
For a while, but it's all right.
It is.
I was hoping I was going to have a lot more progress given that we haven't podcasted in like 2 weeks. I might have a finished sweater. But do you think that I could work on Descent at all, even though I have like 1 sleeve left? No, I didn't even bring it. It's at home. I haven't worked on it at all.
Oh, well.
It's been set aside. It's become the new Snug. Remember? I started Snug. I got it like almost the body almost all the way done, and then I put it aside to like start working on something else. And was it in the fall that I picked it back up? I think after we got back from Rhinebeck. Or before? Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. But I picked it back up. I only had like this much left to do on the body, and then the arms to do. It was silly. Super silly. But I started some new things. Surprise anybody? No.
I only started 1 new thing because I needed a travel project.
Is that what you're working on?
Yeah. Let me show it.
Sure.
Okay. So for my travel project, I started the shift cowl. And I'm doing just kind of neutral colors. So the really light background color that's way down here is a Primrose Jasper DK in romance novel colorway.
Nice.
And then the next color, the medium kind of color, is Malabrigo Arroyo in the Sandbank colorway. And then the darker color is Malabrigo Arroyo in Potion. So
nice.
I can hold them up so you can see. So the one that's really light, it looks mostly natural, but there are some darker tones to it, although you can't even tell that in the ball really. But so it looks like natural.
But it's got some brown cream.
Yeah,
it's
it does have some
undyed.
Yeah, actually, if you look in the cowl, you can see where there's more variation.
Yeah, the little
in it. The kind of, they're like almost peachy. They're darker.
It almost looks like it's tea dyed, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And then
tea stained or whatever.
That's Sandbank. And then
I like that color.
Yeah, I do too. And where's my Potion? So this has a lot more of the color variations in it. So it's going to be a lot more subtle than some of the really gorgeous ones that have been you've seen out there. Some of the ones that use like Spin Cycle or something close to that, where that's kind of the strands are marled together, because that does create some really pretty interest in the ones that I've seen.
Well, it just makes it super unique, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so mine's just going to be a little bit more subdued, which I'm fine with.
That's fine.
Because it'll go with a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
So, and I got my little meerkat on here. He had to mark the right
I did not manage to snag one of those.
You don't have one?
No.
I put one in your bag.
I haven't found it.
Oh.
Where did it go? Okay, I'll look in the bag again.
Well, I think there's another one around, so.
Let me look the bag again. I thought that you had put one in the bag, and I was like, I will double check. I'm not overly worried about it. It's not like I don't know where I can't get another one.
I think there's another one kicking around somewhere, so we'll find it.
I'm not worried about it. I will, let me check the bag first, though.
Okay, you check.
Yeah, clearly I'm using the bag.
I actually have been. It's pretty handy. I like that it has a zipper top, so I can throw a bunch of stuff in there and it won't fall out.
I've been using this bag, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Cool. Very cool.
So I cast on Ingalls.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I need something new.
There's quite a few people at Edinburgh that had Ingalls on.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
So I got very subtle.
It's pretty.
With the color work here. It is held double with the mohair. So I don't know if you can see the fuzzy, a little fuzzy. So it's knit out of all Legacy Fiber Arts yarn. DK, so the main color is parchment,
Yeah.
and then the counter color is pewter, held with silver linings.
Nice.
As the mohair.
Nice.
I have a lot of the silver left over. I'm waiting to see how much of the parchment I have left over, because I probably have enough for like color work hat or
Nice.
some other stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe some
Cool.
mittens.
It's really pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really
It's surprising how parchment, it skeins up like this, so it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of color variation in it, and then when you knit it, you get these really kind of cool, not even splotches is really the wrong word. It's just a
Little
nice
pops
of color.
subtle color.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty.
Thank you. I was having a few moments where I was like, why am I knitting a sweater out of such a light color? I'm considering doing the sleeve cuffs in the gray.
In the gray, yeah.
And maybe even the bottom ribbing. Because...
Just so it doesn't collect, or just so the dirt doesn't show. It's going to collect the dirt still, but...
Yeah, because I was like, this was maybe not a wise choice. Given my lifestyle and household, and
yeah, it's gonna be gorgeous though.
Thank you. I have it in this open top bag. I should probably move it to a different bag. My dog likes to grab it out of the top of the bag.
Oh,
if she gets mad if I'm not paying attention to her and I set it down and walk out of the room,
oh dear,
she doesn't do anything with it. She literally just picks up and drops it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
She's silly. So let's see. What else have I been working on? I have a few things. I've been kind of all over the place.
Well, I worked on my sweater. I have one other thing that I started while I was in Scotland, just for a little change of pace. But yeah, my Ingrid was pretty much what I was cranking away on, just trying to get it done.
I made some progress on changes.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I need a coffee or something. Whew.
I got all of the next B section done.
Oh, wow. Look at you go.
So this whole half is already done.
Nice.
Wah, 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 wah.
I've got to pick mine
Super
back
giant.
up again.
And so now I'm on section C2.
That's pretty.
And then I have D2. And then I'm done. Well, I have a whole bunch of ends to weave in.
Yeah.
So I was working on that a little bit.
Nice.
And then I got distracted with the sweater.
That's so pretty. It's going to be a great, spring shawl you can wear, just toss on, so if it gets a cool breeze, you can wrap it around.
Oh, yeah. It's huge, but it's lightweight because it's... So I'm at the point where I'm supposed to have put some of these stitches on another cord. But I have not. I've just been knitting. But I've only done a couple rows. So I was hedging my bets for how many rows I could put on without, or if I could do the whole section without having to actually take the stitches off the same
long enough cord,
needle.
you could do it.
Yeah, it's we'll see. It'll get to the point where I'm fighting with it and I'll be like, I have to do something about this.
I saw Mina for a quick second while I was there. It was so busy.
Oh,
I said
yeah.
hi to her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Saw a couple podcast viewers handed out some pins.
Awesome. I saw lots of pictures on Instagram.
I know.
I saw lots of pictures of people. Like, not as many. Like, I feel like when you go to Rhinebeck, I don't know what my hair is doing. What is going on over here? Like, when you go to Rhinebeck, you do see some pictures of people. You see lots of pictures of animals. You see sometimes lots of pictures of yarn. Lots of people flashing their stash. Like, you know, things that they, not flash, flash their purchases kind of stuff. And I saw so many pictures of just people. Like, groups of people. And like, hey, we're hanging out. We're doing this. And then pictures of the castle. And it was...
There's more now pictures of what people bought.
Because they're back now.
Yeah. I've started seeing some of those pop up, and some people like extended their stay and they've been taking pictures of like the rest of their trip around Scotland, which is really fun too.
Awesome.
Which I guess, you know, if you're going to be over there.
Yeah, if you're going to make the investment to go over and have the ability to stay a few extra days or extra week.
Unfortunately, there's a few people that I heard from that their flights were on 737 Maxes.
Ooh.
And their flights got canceled and they didn't get to go. I was like, oh, that's the worst. I know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose in the grand scheme, you'd rather have your flight canceled than the alternative.
Yeah, exactly. But
that is
a bummer. Yeah.
That is a bummer.
Yeah. Yep. So I can show one other thing I worked on. And then eventually I've got all my acquisitions. I've got them all listed out for you guys. I did show notes early this morning so that if there's anything of interest to you, because there were some great yarn companies there. I didn't go crazy with yarn.
I was going to play a game last week, and I couldn't even get my act together to do that. Oh. How many new projects did Kelly bring home? Closest winner wins a prize.
So it's crochet, and it doesn't look like much yet.
You're going to make a giant sheep.
It's not giant sheep, but it's a wee sheep. I got Dougal, who is the mascot for Edinburgh from Toft Yarn Company.
They did a giant one of him.
They did a giant one. Carol and I actually got our pictures taken next to the giant one. So... I got him, and I got the kit for this guy, so it came with everything, like the yarn, the stuffing, the needle, everything.
Wow.
The crochet hook.
Cool.
But then, so he's Dougal, the EYF ram. So last year they did Morag, the Highland Highland cow, and I don't have a picture of him, but
Highland cuckoo. Sorry.
They ran out of the kits before I decided that I couldn't not get him. So I got the pattern and the yarn. So I basically don't have the stuffing, and the needle, the crochet hook was the same size, so it's totally fine. Yeah. And then they emailed me the pattern.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I've got the yarn to do him, but I just don't have the picture to show you guys. He's so cute. He's got all loopy fur. When you're crocheting, you make the loops, and so he's kind of shaggy, and it's really cute.
Awesome.
And he was so popular. They're actually going to add him to their regular lineup of animals.
Nice.
And they've got so many fun ones. And I got their sheep book when I was there too, which I'll show you guys in acquisitions. But so I have one of Dougal's feet almost done. I have to finish doing the leg and then stuff it. And but that's a little Dougal foot.
Nice.
Yep. So I didn't get very far with Dougal. Oh, I can show you the little teeny bit of knitting I did for my knitting class too. That's it.
Teeny tiny bit of knitting.
Teeny tiny bit of knitting, yeah. So that was a really cool experience. So I took a color work knitting class with Felix Ford, who's Knit Sonic, and her class was great. But I didn't have enough time. No, but I don't think anybody had enough time to like get their pattern squared away. So I did. It was basically taking a picture of a flower and then translating that into a color work pattern, and then figuring out yarn colors and things like that to make it more of a Farrell looking pattern. And it was the hardest part was really getting the pattern down onto paper, because I was trying to be too literal. I did a daisy, and I was trying to be too literal, and daisies are really hard because their petals are thin, so translating that into knitting was hard. So I like the colors, but I have to work on the pattern a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was as far as I got in my 3-hour class. So, but no, it was a great class, and her handout was fabulous. Her handout was almost as big as her books that she's done. I would think it was like a 20-page handout or something.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think she knew that, you know, time was going to be limited. So,
Right.
But yeah, it was a great class.
Awesome.
So some people did I took some pictures of some of the different ones that people did. Some of them were just really, really cool.
Nice. So so a few weeks ago, I had started the Distill hat,
Oh, yeah.
and I decided to hold mohair with it.
Okay.
So that was a bad choice.
Uh-oh.
For a couple of reasons. Bad choice. It was a bad choice because I wound the mohair with the yarn. And so
Chelsea had that same problem,
so
too.
what we've been finding is if you try to do that, the tension of the two yarns is different. And so they don't cake the same, and bad things happen. Mm-hmm. So that was problem number one. I could have worked around that problem. I mean, ultimately, like, it's annoying, but for a hat, like, you could have powered through it. Mm-hmm. The problem is that there's a stitch in this hat, and I think if I'd actually looked at the pattern and looked at the stitch before I started, I would have realized that it wasn't going to work. So there's places in here, I don't know if you guys can see that, it's kind of hard to see on the screen, where you literally are dropping down and you have to pull up loops from below, and so you need the stretchiness of the wool to be able to do that, or the hat just like starts to seize together, because it doesn't, because wool has that give, and it's still, you know, those stitches are still tight, but with the mohair, like, they were just,
well, in the mohair they typically run either a silk or nylon thread up through that the mohair is then spun off of, and I mean, if you know, there's no give to silk or nylon. It's made to be really durable.
Exactly. For any other, like, hat or any other project, it would have been fine. This particular stitch, there was no way. I realized it at a certain point. I kept going because I'm like, no, it's going to be fine. And then it wasn't working. Yeah. So I ripped it out. Well, I had to size up how I was going to do this because the mohair and the yarn were wound together, and I knew I wanted the yarn. Mohair, I was like, nah, I'll sacrifice mohair. It's fine.
Yeah. Was that the purple?
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw that mess. So what I ended up doing is I did not actually rip out the project. I started from the other end of the ball and pulled out. It took me a while to get a good technique, so if this happens to you, might I suggest this technique. I also did know I was gonna sacrifice the mohair, so it wasn't trying to save it. So I pulled out a length, I detangled the mohair from it, I got the yarn on my ball winder, and then I would just pull a length, and I would pull, like, basically break the mohair, pull it off, and then wind it. Pull a length, break the mohair, pull it off, wind it. Yeah. Once I got the rhythm down, it actually went pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It was like the first part where I was like, okay, how is this going to work? So I have completely demohaired my skein. And I'm starting again. And so I've gotten this, it's a top-down hat, which is an interesting construction in of itself, on Magic Loop, which is also not my favorite way to knit things, but it's fine.
Yeah, I know you're not as big of a fan of it.
No, I'm not as fast on it, but it's coming along. I have 20 more rows or so to go, maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have a finished object. I don't know. So that was that giant debacle. And thank you to all the people who were horrified with me on Instagram and who were like, didn't you watch Sue and Chelsea? And I was like, I did! I'd already wound my yarn.
It was too late.
And of course, there's also the part of sometimes what happens, but you're like, it's not going to happen to me.
Well, and then to know that, you know, once you got into that pattern, realizing that
it wasn't going to work.
It wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
It was didn't have the elasticity you needed.
I mean, I had a moment where I was like, would I just use this for something else?
Yeah.
So then I don't have to take these two yarns apart, but I really wanted to knit that hat out of that yarn.
Yeah.
So it was a small sacrifice of time and the mohair, and it was a sugar bush yarn mohair, so it wasn't overly expensive.
Yeah. It wasn't like an indie dyed beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still beautiful.
Still beautiful. It did not pain me as much as if I had
Yeah.
spent a lot more money.
Yeah.
On it. I still don't like to throw away yarn.
I know.
I have a really hard time with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, even sometimes when you have like the little bits left that really aren't enough to do anything with, and you're like,
don't think I didn't have the thought as that pile of mohair was sitting on my couch, is there something I could use this for?
I know.
Throw it in the garbage, crazy lady. Like, what are you going to do with it? You're going to put it in a Ziploc baggie and keep it? Like, really? So Gage played with it for a little bit, played in it for a little bit, and then in the garbage it went.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah. I have one more thing I was kind of working on. And I don't even have a project page for it. I don't know if I'm going to do a project page for it because it's not truly knitting. I mean, a little bit of knitting. It's like mini knitting. So I have a Cranky Sheep tube. This is one of 2 tubes of this colorway. This is really long. So I'm working on a cuff. I think I may be grossly estimating or underestimating how much I need for the size of sock that I'm making. So these are going to be for my brother. Mm-hmm. He wears a shoe size 11. Mm-hmm. I am almost convinced that I'm going to be able to clip it back in here and put the toe in and have enough room for a heel and this and have enough to make myself a shorty sock.
Mm-hmm.
Out of both of the tubes.
You might be able to.
But I am going to have to make sure. Luckily my husband wears the same size shoe as my brother, so I can grab a pair of his hand knit socks.
Nice.
And kind of just double check, like eyeball. Like how, because if it's this one, I think I'm still fine. Because with the toe, I can always just make the toe longer.
Yeah. You could.
I think this one's going to be too short. Mm-hmm. It's probably that one. And that's
for a shorty pair,
might be big enough. So we'll see.
Cool.
So I figured I am asking Kelly to make all these tubes for me. I probably should start using them. Or I'm apparently having a second hobby, which is just collecting knit tubes.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to start. I actually have all of the Legacy that I bought for Cranky Sheep all cranked out. So those are I'm going to put those up. I know I did one for Ange. She's the one that she bought. Isn't it pretty?
I was just trying to figure out how many pairs of socks I could make myself out of this?
So a lot of people have gotten 2 pair. Yeah.
And they wouldn't even have to be shorty socks.
I know. It depends how long you like your cuff and how big your foot is, and you can a lot of times get away with it. But yeah, so I've got a whole bunch of the Legacy that are going to go up probably later this week, maybe this weekend.
Super excited.
And I'm also going to add, at some point, probably pretty soon, the option to send me yarn to have cranked.
Nice.
So, because I've had a lot of people ask me about that.
Well, there's a lot of us that have a lot of sock yarn.
Yeah. That's,
why.
Well, hand cranked and hand knit combo.
I'll have to make a new tag. Hand cranked by Kelly. Finished by Angela.
Nah.
That's all
That's your deal?
Yeah.
Cool.
There were days at a time in there where I really didn't get hardly any knitting done.
Yeah, I know.
In the last couple of weeks.
When I was sick, it was hard, but in some ways it was good because I felt like I had to do something, but like my head felt like it was cold.
Yucky.
So I just like couldn't function, but I could sit there and just like, because by that point the color work was done, so I just had to like knit. So I just sat there going, knit.
I was so sick I couldn't even.
Yeah,
knit.
no, for
It's
that
like
kind of
not even.
no, that kind of sick is not good sick. Well, there's not really any good sick, but
No, but it was.
there's some sick where you can function, and
Yeah.
some sick where you just really can't. So
Exactly. So in terms of what I really need to do is just finish some of these things that I
Yeah.
just showed all of you.
I know.
I was trying to crank out Changes shawl. I really want to get that done. One, I kind of want to use a project bag for something else. I need another project bag for sweater. I'm running out of big project bags, and I can't really justify buying any more right now.
I know.
I have so many. But I'm trying to decide if I want to knit the throwback sweater, or people need to stop coming out with sweaters.
Yeah, I know, right?
So this sweater just got
that's
released recently, yesterday maybe. Or
Oh,
maybe the day before,
yeah.
because Denise from
Yes.
Earth Tones Girl was one of their test knitters. So this is the tundra sweater.
I saw hers on
It's beautiful.
Instagram, and it was so lovely.
And it's knit out of Let Lopi, and I've been wanting to knit something out of Let Lopi. Though it's
It's
a
knit at
really
tighter
tight gauge,
Yeah.
because it's on 4s
Not
and 6s.
like the ones that we did. Not
Right.
like Sigler and Stopover
know.
and the one that you did, yeah.
So I'm having a debate about whether I want to do this one, which I would have to buy yarn for, because I would probably want to knit it out of the Let Lopi.
The Let Lopi is so reasonably priced.
I know, but I need like 11 skeins of the main color, and I think 2 skeins of one color and 1 skein of the second color. So anyway, I have so much yarn. So the other sweater that I was thinking of casting on, because I actually have most of the yarn for it, is the no frills sweater. Well, at Throwback I have all the yarn for, so I probably should just do that one.
Yeah.
I have to buy any yarn. I already have it. Is the no frills sweater. I have 4 skeins of the Countess Ablaze colorway by Piggy Jane Fibers.
Okay.
It's super bright. It's like pinks and purples and like oranges and super red. And I have been having some like, am I really gonna wear this? Like, because it's so bright. But I think if I knit the no frills and hold a mohair with it, like the vanilla bean from Legacy, or just see what we have here that's more of like a neutral color, I think it'll tone it down enough that it'll be fine. And that pattern is knit, it's fingering weight yarn, it's knit on 6s. I know Chelsea from Legacy is knitting hers because the mohair, she went up to a size 7. So I was like, I probably would need to do that as well. So a sweater like that on 7s would go fast. I mean, this on 6s. Is these 6s? Yeah. So a bigger needle than this sweater, and it's going pretty quick. So I might do that one.
Nice.
Abigail stopped yelling at me about where her sweater is. So I have yarn. I have yarn for her to knit the little red pullover.
Nice.
So it's a 2-color sweater.
Cute.
But we're all kind of starting to get out of sweater weather a little bit. Not that stops me, but for kids it's harder because you won't be able to wear it till next.
Right. And you have to kind of account for growth spurts and that kind of thing. So
that one might get dropped down.
Yeah.
But maybe I should probably do the throwback. I have all the yarn for that. I might need to get any yarn. But where's the fun in that?
I talked about all of my upcoming projects last time.
Yeah.
Except for one, which I got yarn for.
Also?
So I can talk about that, and I can move into acquisitions.
Sure. This is going to be the Kelly show because I'm buying anything.
I was pretty good. So I took just a carry-on suitcase And if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen my picture. I actually got all of my clothes into one half of it. So then I had the other half for yarn. And on the way back, it was a tight fit, but I got it on and I didn't even have to do the expansion zipper.
Nice.
Well, I put it in with it like expanded, but then I zipped it back closed so that I could just still do a carry-on, and it was because yarn squishes.
Yes.
So I got a few fun things. So I told you about the sheep book I got from Toft.
Cool.
So I think there's 18 different crochet sheep patterns in here.
Oh my God.
And they are a riot. So
oh my.
So and they all have names. That's Simon. And I won't show them all to you, but he's cute too. I want to show you. There's a couple that I just, and they're numbered 1 through 3 as far as the level, like the how hard they are to make. Look at Hank the Dorset down. They are so cute. So yeah, I got these little guys. Oh, this is Lisa, the Valet Black Nose. So Tammy, did you see Tammy's getting her? She had mentioned last time I saw her that she had 2 used bread. So she's gonna be the proud owner. Seth, the Wensleydale. Look at how funny he is. He's so cute. So yeah, so I've got. I wasn't gonna get it, and I was like, even if I never make them, I just love looking at them.
Yeah.
And then there's a bonus little lamb that looks just like Simon, but he's wee little.
So cute.
So I got that. This is the yarn for Morag, who's the Highland cow.
Nice.
So, I didn't print that pattern out, so you can't see the picture. I got 2 kits from Jamieson and Smith. One for a hat.
Oh, that's a cool hat.
Which is really, really pretty. And it's in grays and browns, which you can't really see in the plastic. I don't really want to take it out, but that's what it looks like, and I really like that. So, and that's one, and then the other kit I got is for some mitts.
Oh, cool.
And I did put these in show notes in case you guys are interested.
So I suspect you're gonna have lots of yarn left over.
Yeah, so these so the big skein for the mitts anyway is a 50 gram, and then the others are 25 gram.
Oh, okay.
So they are smaller quantities, but yeah, you're still gonna have some. So I might even be able to do a couple pair of mitts out of them and then change it up a little bit.
Nice.
And then so I didn't bring like all of the skeins of all of the yarn because that just seems a little bit ridiculous to like show you. Because
here's a whole sweater's quantity worth of yarn.
So and I didn't get so this yarn they didn't have a whole sweater's quantity of. They had 3 skeins and I bought 3 skeins, which I can do like a vest or a shawl or something out of. But this is from Oostwool and it's a DK.
It's beautiful.
And look at the there's just a little bit of like marling of different colors in here. Look at that. I just fell in love with this and I couldn't not. And Carol's like, I'm really glad you bought that because if you didn't, I would have. So I've got 3 skeins of this. And then their yarn was really lovely. And I linked to they do have a website, so I did link to it. My mother-in-law actually gave me yarn to bring her back some Scottish yarn. So this is the yarn that I got from her.
She gave you money or yarn?
She gave me money.
I was like, well, if you had this new yarn bartering system, that's cool.
No, she gave me money for yarn. So I didn't really know what to get her, but I thought this was really pretty, and I thought she would like this.
It's pretty.
And it's a really nice Scottish yarn. So I've got 3 skeins of this. I was going to go back and get her a 4th just to make sure she would have enough, but I went back and they were all out of this one, and I was like, darn it. But so hopefully she can find something that she would like to do with 3 skeins. But that's really pretty, and it smells so good and sheepy.
I love that sheepy smell.
I know. And then last but not least, yes, this is it, you guys. I did not go crazy because I had limited space, and I was like, I really don't want to have to buy an extra bag to do to check. So I saw they had this sweater made up in John Arbin's booth at the festival, and I just loved it. So there it is. So it's called Syrup Waffle, and it uses, I've got 5 skeins of this, the Exmoor's Vorpals. It's a DK weights yarn. So this is going to be the main body color. And the one that they had made up was more of a yellowy gold, but I ended up getting an orange. So this is Harvest Hues, and that's the other color that's in it.
It's going to be beautiful.
So yeah, I do have more skeins of that, but I just brought one so you could see the color. So that's what I got, and I'm really happy with my purchases. There wasn't anything that I got that I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't have got that. There are a lot of great indie dyers there, and I looked at a lot of their yarn, but I've got so much indie dyed yarn, fingering weight yarn. We have a lot here, and and a lot of them, the nice thing is a lot of them are available online. So
you can get them.
Yeah, and I knew that just with limited space, I wanted to get some stuff that was, like a Scottish yarn and farm yarn.
Yep. Stuff you can't get here
as
or
easily.
Can't get as easily online.
And it's also stuff that, a lot of the indie dyers, you kind of know what the bases are gonna be kind of like. Yeah.
She had enough room in her suitcase to bring home a souvenir.
I did. So that's my little haul. So
nice. You did good.
I really love everything that I got, and I bought a fair amount of yarn, but I don't feel like I went too crazy. So
moderation.
Yeah, and we had a really lovely time. The event itself was really well run, but it was just so busy. Yeah, there were a ton of people at the event. And so it was a little bit hard to see everything. And so if you take a class at the festival, you get to go into the festival an hour early every day. So you can get in at 9 instead of 10. 10 is kind of general admission. Mm-hmm. And the line isn't as long. Some people would, stand for quite a while in the general admission line to get in. The only thing is a lot of people take classes because they fill really quickly. So even if you get in early, it's still crowded.
Yeah.
Not as much as later on, but it was sometimes challenging. The first day was really hot too. Like I had my sweater on for like the first 5 minutes, and then I'm like, no, I can't do it anymore. Hot. It was so hot. But it was a really nice festival. The class that I took was great. Nice. And they did a really nice job managing the festival. Joe and Micah, who put on the festival, and the venue was really nice. And it's a lot different in some ways from Rhinebeck, because there's all these great designers there that are like with their booths. Like Carol Feller was there, and Isolde Teague was there, and Stephen West was there, but like nobody was like trampling other people to get to them. They were very accessible. I mean, you could just walk right up to them and talk to them.
Yeah.
Which was kind of neat, and a little bit less of that
starstruck.
Yeah. I mean, people. It was just in that way, it wasn't like Rhinebeck or some of the bigger festivals. It was kind of tame for that, but it was very, very crowded and very busy. But yeah, everybody's booths were beautiful. I took a couple pictures of some of the booths, and they were so fun. Everybody had these really cute buntings. I should have gone around to all of the booths that had done like buntings and taken pictures, because they were all so different, but they were all just like really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, there are some neat companies. Sorry, I had to sneeze. But
it might be contagious. I guess the sun
didn't happen. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it was cool. Some companies I had not heard of before, and others that I had.
Nice.
Some bigger companies like Stephen and Penelope, their yarn store. They brought their yarn store. La Bien-Aimée was there. Mm-hmm. John Arbin. A lot more people, I think, are more aware of John Arbin now, especially with podcasting and some of the British podcasters talking about
Local
some of the bigger, it's bigger to them companies. They were super friendly. The people working at the John Arbin booth were really, really friendly.
Nice.
He did a talk on Sunday too, and it looked really cool. So you had to have separate tickets to some of the different events, and that was one of them. And we were flying out anyway, so we didn't have tickets to that.
Yep.
But that looked really interesting.
Did you see those Bastrico ladies?
We actually flew. We were on the same plane.
Same plane.
Yeah, they were a little bit ahead, and so I didn't chat with them then. But when I was on
Did you guys fly out of Montreal?
Yeah,
Okay.
we flew out of Montreal. But when we were on the plane to Edinburgh, they were actually right in front of me, and she turned around and said hi to me, and I was like, oh hi. I knew you were chatting with there's two women in the seat with them too, that because they were like Carol and I, they had the aisle seats too. So they said hi, and I was like, I didn't want to interrupt you, I knew you were talking, and she's like, oh, it's fine. But they're really sweet ladies. They're really, Melissa and Lisa, they're great. And
we should chat with them about
I know
something.
doing an event of some sort, doing across the border type something. They're great. They're really they've got a good eye for things, and they release some really great patterns.
And they're usually free, and they're like beautiful.
They do a really nice job with that, and I like watching their podcast just to get ideas for patterns to make too. They've got a really pretty good sized staff, but I mean they've been doing this for quite a few years, longer than we have anyway. So they have a nice staff of very talented knitters that work for them too, and they're both very talented as well. So yeah, it's great to see what they come up with for designs, and just what they have their knitters knit for their shop too. So their podcasts are really interesting to watch. And then I saw them a couple times just around the festival, but it was so crowded that I wasn't surprised that if I missed people, which I know I did, because I know there was a couple people that said, I'll catch up with you if I see you at the festival, and
just didn't happen.
It just didn't happen. But we didn't go. So the first day we went for most of the day on Thursday. Friday, Carol had a class in the afternoon, so we didn't go like right early. So I walked. I didn't walk over. Well, the first day we actually did walk to the festival. It was like 2 miles, a little over 2 miles from where our hotel was. And it was really pretty. But then we figured out the bus system, which was super easy to use. So we took buses everywhere, and that worked great. We either took buses or walked everywhere, which was nice. And so, Thursday Carol had a class, so we went over with her, and I walked around a little bit at the marketplace.
So if you take a class, do you get in early every day?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you get in early any of the days of the festival.
Okay.
Which is nice. And then I had a class. My class was Saturday, and Carol actually didn't go over to the marketplace that day. She went and did some exploring around town.
Nice.
We ate at great restaurants while we were there. Edinburgh has some fabulous restaurants. They've got quite a few Michelin star rated restaurants there, which I don't think any of the ones we went to were Michelin. Oh no, one of them was.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really cool, like their presentation on everything. Oh my god, it was so good. But that's besides the point. But I go places for the food, so
and the drinks.
Yeah.
If you're in Scotland.
Yeah. Actually the
adult beverages.
First night that we were there, we did do a Scotch tasting, which Carol doesn't. So my husband and I have a pretty good collection of single malt Scotch because we like it. And it was funny, the tastings, I was looking for ones where there were ones that I knew that I hadn't had before, and there was only one of the tastings that didn't have like more than 2 of like the whiskeys I already have. I had one that I knew we had, but 3 of them were new to me ones. So
nice.
I don't think I've made Carol a convert to Scotch. But no, that was really fun. And then we went and did a tour of the castle, and then we climbed up Arthur's Seat too. And that was amazing views from there. It was so windy. Those 2 days, the day we did the castle and the day we did Arthur's Seat, it was so windy. I thought I was gonna get blown off the top. But it was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun just kind of walking around town, and I always love doing that whenever you go somewhere new and just kind of getting a flavor of the place that you're at, and so. But yeah,
Awesome.
that was super fun.
Nice. Yeah. Next up, tour of Ireland. No. Next up, Iceland. Next up,
Shetland.
I'd love to go to Shetland.
I know. That would be pretty amazing.
I'd love to go to Shetland. I keep trying to sell Iceland to my family because
You should talk to Pam about it.
fishing and other stuff there.
So my brother-in-law did it, and they pretty much tented, and did a lot of hiking and tenting and made their own food and things like that. Pam did it, and I remember her saying it was very expensive.
Yeah.
It was like really, really expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should talk to Pam about it because she could give you all the deets. She loved Ireland. I mean, she liked I liked Iceland, but she said Ireland was awesome. She's like, every town has a mill, and you know.
I've done Ireland.
Have you?
Fiber. It was predates me. Knitting and being into the craft. But it's a beautiful country. I'd love to go back just for that, for the fiber part, to do a mill and fiber tour.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And I think that there would be plenty of things there for my family to do as well. But we have a few more years before we can do trips like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But anyway, I keep trying to talk them into coming to like Rhinebeck, and they don't even want to go to the Sheep and Wool Festival with me. Well, William does, but nobody else does.
Yeah.
Well, Abigail probably when she gets to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I keep trying to figure out how I'm gonna get down to Maryland. I think we're just gonna have to go. And it'd be like, no, we're going for the store. Sorry, I'm gonna be down for the weekend.
I know. I haven't been to Maryland. I'd like to, because I've heard really good things about that festival.
I mean, it's different than Rhinebeck, but you know, a lot of the same vendors are there. But it's a different vibe. It's a different feel.
Everybody has told me that it's definitely more focused on like the sheep part of it, and like that. That's kind of
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because my sense without knowing that would have been like that Rhinebeck's more sheep focused.
Yeah.
But
no, I guess Maryland is very
even more so.
Yeah, about the showing, because that's what it's been about for a long, long time, and then it kind of like grew into this.
Oh, look, there's this whole
yarn
industry.
Festival. Yeah. So.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, so it'd be kind of interesting to go to Maryland after going so many years to Rhinebeck. So
yeah. I mean, it's a short flight if you go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
And driving from here is probably 12
hours. Yeah.
I mean, you could do it. I mean, if there was multiple people going, you could break it up and share the driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Probably. Definitely not this year, but maybe next year.
Yeah, because it's in May. So.
Yeah, it's in early May, right?
Yeah.
Beginning of May.
Yeah. It's usually Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I really love Vermont Sheep and Wool.
I do too. It's
a great festival.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't been to that one, or if you're, you're going to be, it's a great time of year to come.
It's a beautiful time of year.
It's usually the last weekend in September or first weekend in October, depending on how that falls. Yep. So there's still, a lot of really pretty foliage.
Yep.
And the weather, if the weather's good, then it's really fun, but sometimes it's rainy, which isn't bad, but it can be kind of a cold rain.
Right.
but there's so many great vendors that go to that, and they've gotten the food trucks in, so the food is really great now. It used to be a little bit, but it's a really pretty area too. It's a narrow little valley, and it's really pretty. Yeah, pretty easy to get to, especially because the interstate runs
kind of right by it.
Yeah,
kind of.
It's fairly easy for people from New Hampshire, Massachusetts, that area to get to. So,
yep.
Anyway,
we have our next big event here is Local Yarn Store Day, on April 27th.
Yep.
So we've got a couple trunk shows that are going to be happening. I think we've, for the most part, solidified details on both of them.
I think so. I've got an email one back.
But... Okay, so Kingdom, you better go because I'm going to mess up the name.
Fleece and Fiberworks.
Kingdom Fleece and Fiberworks.
So Liz is coming. She's over in the Hardwick area, and she's got a fiber mill. She's been processing fleece into rovings, and I know she's working on getting a spinning mill. So
awesome.
I don't know what you call it.
And our other person
so she can do her yarn too.
Who's coming in is Rachel from Silkworm Studios. You guys remember Silkworm Studios?
Yeah. So our second.
The Sugar and Time Seasons of Vermont box. She did the yarn for that.
Yeah.
She's now in
gorgeous.
This time zone.
That's right. She's on the East Coast now.
Yep. And she's going to come up and do a trunk show that day with us on the 27th. So super excited.
That'll be really fun.
Her colorways are so gorgeous.
Yeah, that colorway she did for us was amazing.
Yeah. So if you liked that, you liked her yarn, she's going to be here on the 27th.
Yep.
So come check that out.
Did you see the other new East Coast person we have now?
That moved to Maine?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did.
I know. Yeah, so Andrea Mowry is now on the East Coast. She's in Maine. Not too far. Maybe we can get her guys for a class.
Anybody know her? She's not that far from us.
I know. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I can pop her an email and I'll let her get settled, and then I'll pop her an email and be like, guess what? You're in our backyard now.
You want to come see us? Come do a class. It would be awesome.
I know. It'd be great to have her do a class. She's super talented and been putting some really nice amazing patterns out there.
Yeah. No, that would be fun.
I've heard people that have taken classes with her before. I've known people that have taken classes, and they love her classes. Nice. So
well, we should work on that.
Yep.
That would be awesome. We've got a couple of knit-alongs going.
We do.
So we've got the fuzzy along, which is going to end in a couple of weeks. So get your fuzzy things finished.
Along with your taxes.
My fuzzy thing's not going to be finished. And my other fuzzy thing I got ripped out. So I
should pick up my...
batting 0 for 2 on the fuzzy along.
My Rosamond tee and get that done, because it's not, in the grand scheme of things, that far. I just have lots of knitting to do.
The other knit along that we have is the New to Me along. Actually, that hat works because both the yarn and the pattern designer are new to me.
Excellent.
So I was going to try to triple dip with the fuzzy along, and clearly that worked out well.
Yeah, well, you can't win prizes anyways.
I know.
You can't even win the one from me.
I know. So sad. That's all right. I get my own prizes, like special bags from the Edinburgh Yarn Festival and sock yarn that gets cranked into tubes. So there's other perks.
Yeah.
Kelly gets sweaters.
I do. I get sweaters.
From more than just me, too.
I know.
That was amazing. So how was that wine?
It was fabulous.
Okay.
Oh my God, it was so good. My husband kept eyeballing it. He's so funny. He loves wine. So he kept eyeballing it, and he's like, oh, I really want to try your wine. And he's like, but it was a red blend, but the main grape that was in it was it's better to go with a heartier meal, like a beef or something like that. So I ended up doing some steaks last night.
So he was like, we're going to open it.
And because I knew he was really itching to have that. So I was like, look, I got steaks. We're going to do steaks tonight. And so now we can try this wine. And it was really good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was really good.
I've been eyeballing mine, but I've been sick. So
yeah, I know.
I've been drinking a lot of wine or anything lately. But but maybe this weekend, if all goes well, I will
There you go.
crack it open.
Yeah.
Steaks or no steaks. Wine goes up with everything.
Yeah. He like got really when he is the kind of person that goes like all in, like does the research. I mean, he knows more than some of the sommeliers at restaurants we've been to before.
Nice.
And yeah, so he's like that way with the wine and the scotch and like everything else. So so whenever like I know what I like the taste of.
Right.
So I'll go to a restaurant and be like, okay, you find something on the menu. This is what I'm eating. You tell me what wine I should get to go with this. I know. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I let him deal with the wine thing. He knows what I like now, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's handy.
It is handy. I know. It's like a little Wikipedia, Winepedia.
Nice.
that I have with me when I go out to eat, so yeah.
That's sweet. I just order what looks good.
Yeah.
Well, it's usually okay. I haven't been disappointed yet.
That's good.
Though I probably haven't been amazed. I could probably be amazed if I did some research.
It is kind of interesting because I've had wines that I've drank before. Like, I'll have a sip of it before I have my food, and you're like, I don't know if I like that. But then once you get your meal, they do complement each other.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
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 It's pretty incredible. Science and chemistry, yo.
I know.
Science is sweet. I think that's all I got.
Okay. That's all I got, too.
Okay.
We made a pretty long podcast this time.
It is. Good thing I have 2 days to edit it.
Hopefully there's not too much editing to do.
No, there's not.
I didn't get off track too much.
No. Actually, the thing that takes the most time is putting all the stuff down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is if I have to insert pictures.
Oh, yeah.
That, the editing that goes with inserting the pictures and keeping the sound going, and then when the video comes back on, making sure our mouths mostly match what the sound is. That's what takes all the time.
Yeah.
But when we have a straightforward podcast where it's like literally the outtakes or the outtake intakes and then the normal, it's
pretty straightforward.
I don't even always rewatch the whole thing. I kind of watch to the point where I need to put titles in, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
We're pretty good about not like swearing and stuff.
No.
Too. So.
No. I can turn it on and off. I have to for my job, so.
Yeah. Yeah. For your job and your kids, so, you know.
Well, sometimes that leaks out.
Sometimes you slip a little there.
Sometimes that one leaks out, but definitely for work. I can.
You get the stink eye from the judge.
Oh yeah, and then some. Yeah, just yeah, that would be bad news. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think next week it's a normal week, so.
Okay. We should.
We'll probably find a day in there somewhere.
Sign off, and then we can look at our calendars, because I think we might have to do on Wednesday again. I have some weird stuff coming up the next few weeks. So.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for joining us so much.
Thanks for stopping by, hanging out with us. We're sorry we missed you the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I did miss all of you.
I know.
I miss doing this. Kind of got out of the habit, and I was like, I
know.
So, we're glad to be back.
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys soon. Next week.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the nap podcast.
People sat and watched us eat cake for 10 minutes. I don't think they'd sit and watch us sleep for
They might. I don't know.
long.
Probably not.
No, probably not.
Wow. So I figured out my thing. My what just happened here on my sweater?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I clearly dropped stitches. Oh. And then when I picked them back up again, I missed a row.
Gotcha.
And it was dark and it was late, and it doesn't surprise me at all that it happened. but I got it all sorted out.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But, like, literally the first time I was just like,
look at that.
ooh, I'm coming along. Been, like, almost
So
just
pretty.
working on this. Thank you.
Nice.
It's amazing how well, like, it shows up on there, but when you look at it,
It's very subtle.
it's very subtle.
Yep. Yeah, I know. On
screen,
looking at
it
on
really-
screen, it really pops.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe from further away, it would too.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah. Thank you. It's Legacy Fiber Arts. I'm going to see if I can even find where it was. Yeah, I think, you know, sometimes when I am knitting on these, if I pull too hard, like, some of the stitches will just pop off the needle. And I think that happened, and then the sweater pulled down because it's kind of getting heavy.
Yep.
And so the 2 or 3 of the stitches popped down.
Yeah.
And then I caught them, and then I just missed a bar as I threaded them back up. So
Yeah.
then when I got around the next time on the round, I was like, what is wrong with these stitches? Because you could really tell at that point. It just took, as I said, fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And by fresh, I mean not having knitted or not in a dark room.
Yeah. Well,
So.
those are all pluses.
Yeah. I was like, this is the stockinette sweater knit in the round. How could I mess this up? How could something happen that I can't figure out? Like, why my stitches are loose? Like, it's like this is like the easiest stitch to have something go wrong on.
Yeah, well. But sometimes, you know.
That's not it. I know. And then I had one after I picked it up that, like, the stitch was twisted. So then I had to, like, drop it back down and then bring it back up again. I was like, oh, come on.
Yep. Oops.
Of course, as I'm doing this, I'm doing this around, like, a toddler.
Oh.
Because she was sitting on my lap,
With you? Yeah.
yelling. Actually, she was yelling at me first, no knitting, mommy.
Oh, no.
And I said, I'm so horrible. I said, I'm not knitting, I'm fixing this. And so she bought that until I started actually knitting again, and then she was like, no knitting. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, then. Yeah. Yeah. I have nothing left to give. Do you see how quickly I was like, sure, you want to take my dog, Carol? You can take my dog. I'll come pick her up.
Maybe someday.
Tomorrow.
When she's 5.
Oh, that wasn't overnight? Okay. Man.
That's not where I am.
So I'm glad you had the wherewithal when the week that we missed. So my kids gave me a stomach virus.
Yeah. And I had a head cold.
So Thursday I was in no shape to be going anywhere, nor would I have wanted to, because I would not have wanted Kelly to get sick or anybody here to get sick.
Yeah.
I did have to go back to work on Friday. Probably
Ugh.
should not have, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I won't talk about all the stuff I had to reschedule the 2 days I was out of the office, including a court hearing.
Oh, boy.
So I'm glad you had the wherewithal to put something together, because I literally spaced that you were leaving like a few days later to go to
It's
festival.
totally fine. I just wanted to let everybody know what the scoop was and do a pick of the week. And
I did, I think I deleted the picture. I did take a picture of myself during all of that fun stuff to send to my mom to be like, yeah, I'm doing awesome. And I almost posted it on social media, and I was like, nah, no, that might be oversharing. I was just going to see if sometimes the deleted ones stay. Oh, yeah, recently deleted. Yeah. Sorry, the rest of you are not going to get to see it.
Poor Ange.
Yeah. So, anyway, did you clear your cold out enough before you had to fly?
I did. Yeah, I was at like pretty much between 95 and 99% on Tuesday when I flew. So
That's good.
I was
Nothing worse than flying with a head cold.
I had just a little bit of a stuffy nose left, but other than that, I was pretty good.
That's good.
And get this, on the way over, I had an entire row all to myself.
What?
Yeah. Not on the way back.
What airline did you fly?
British Airways.
British Airways. They're nice.
Thankfully, I wasn't on the flight that went somewhere else. Did you hear about that?
No.
So a flight was supposed to leave from Heathrow and go to Germany, but they put in the wrong airport code and they went from Heathrow to Edinburgh. And they're like,
were there knitters on the plane that were like, woo?
Well, this was like, I think the day that I came back or something.
Oh, okay.
Which is good. It's funny because when we were flying back, that flight took forever. So we didn't take off until an hour after we were supposed to. Mm. And then on the little screen where it tells you like how much longer your flight is, I was looking. I had watched a couple movies and I was looking at it. And Carol and I both had aisle seats and we were across the aisle from each other. And I looked at the thing and it's like, you have 4 hours left of your flight. And I'm like, what? And so I said that to Carol and she's like, no. But what happened was because we left an hour late, it just automatically shifted everything by 7 hours.
Oh, okay.
And so we actually made up a time in the air. So we actually landed pretty much on time, which was nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how they can do that sometimes, depending on what kind of tail. We get that a lot when we're coming back from the West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can get strong tailwinds across.
Yeah.
And we've left late before, like super late, and then made it in early. And you're just like, why can't you do this all the time?
I know.
Like, what's up with that?
So when we left Edinburgh, it was so windy. So windy. And when we were taking off, I'm like, oh, no. This is it. But once we got up, a ways, it was fine. But we had, at one point, I was looking at the screen, and we had 101 mile per hour tailwind.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. We were cruising. It was good. It was good, but yeah, we had relatively decent weather while we were there. It's better than last year, anyway. I guess
It was cold last year, right?
Last year, yeah, it snowed and was cold and rainy, and they got a lot of different weather. This year, we the first 2 days were beautiful. So we got in there on Wednesday, and then and it was almost 60 degrees, and the sun was mostly out, and we were just walking around in our sweaters. Everybody else is in their like down coats and they're like crazy people. But
well, no, I mean it hits like 40 here.
Yeah,
and I'm not putting my coat on.
I know,
it's too hot.
Yeah. So and we had the last 2 days were pretty windy, and we would get just kind of like a misting rain, and then it would go away, and actually by the afternoon it was fine. So
nice.
So yeah, I mean overall the weather was much better than it was here. So
oh my god. Yeah, we got hammered with that snowstorm that came through. We were supposed to get 4 inches.
Yeah, you guys did. Down at my house, we didn't get as much, I guess.
We got at least twice that, if not more.
Yeah. Of
really heavy, wet snow.
So yeah, some places lost power.
We didn't lose power. We had a lot of trees come down.
Did you?
On some things we would have preferred them not to come down on. So. Oh well. That's why I have insurance.
Yeah, somebody that works for my husband had 18 inches of snow at her place. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Yippers. So anyway, so that was fun. That was Friday and Saturday.
I know. I was looking at the weather, and I knew it was supposed to be warm on Sunday. I'm like, I really hope most of the snow is gone before I get home.
We have so much snow in my house.
Do you? We're almost completely melted. We have just like where my husband plowed, just those kind of mounds, and that's it.
Nope.
It's looking almost like spring, especially this morning because
my driveway looks like spring.
Oh, God. Looks like mud season.
Oh my God, our road. I live on a dirt road. The dirt roads to my house leading up to the storm and during the storm, I've never seen anything like it. It's like, I mean, I've seen it in other places. I've never seen it on my road. It's just, it was a mess. It's still a mess. My driveway doesn't look much better. But.
Oops.
So, fun times. Fun times.
I know there's a couple of driveways around where I live where people are parking at the ends of them because they're so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
The roads got really bad this winter, too. But.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
The sinkhole there on Shelburne Road. I drove by in the morning. It was not there. I drove by 2 hours later. It was there. It's awesome. Not awesome. It's just... yay, weather. Yay, weather.
Yeah, it was a long winter. Everybody
Yeah.
is ready for it to be.
But it's cold, too. But...
You are supposed to be knit. You bad little stitch.
What are you making?
I'm making the shift cowl.
Nice. I've been eyeballing that.
It's really, it's pretty, and it's pretty intuitive. You don't really have to pay a whole lot of attention to the directions.
I was eyeballing the cowl just because it's that bandana style kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Easy to wear. You don't have to worry about falling off. And
yep.
Yeah. So I'm going pretty neutral with my colors. I'll hold it up in a second. Let me do my make one. There we go. I can show it when we actually start really podcasting too.
Ooh, pretty.
But I'm going fairly neutral with mine. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing the marled yarns. This is the darker one is a Malabrigo, so there is color variation to it, but it's not like the Spin Cycle yarns that Andrea used.
Right. But you almost don't need, I mean, you could, it looks beautiful either way.
And some people change, like, the color in every section, which is kind of fun, too. Mm-hmm.
Like,
which
you
I know.
Could use odds and ends.
Yeah, in her sweater, the Shifty and the Night Shift, which is her shawl, the bigger shawl, and the Shifty's the sweater. I know that there's more written in color changes than the cowl. The cowl you use 3 skeins, but no, I like it. It's fun. I figured it would be a fun travel knitting project because it's
just enough to keep your interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's funny. I actually didn't knit that much when I got there. I knit more in the airports because you know you're waiting.
What else are you gonna do?
But we were really, you know, we kept ourselves busy and did a lot of walking and.
Yep. Well, there's so much to see there. It's so beautiful.
There are so many things that, you know, we could have stayed longer and done and seen, but we'll save that for another trip sometime. I want my husband to go back because I know that there's so much that he would love to see and do there. So.
Yep.
But no, it's good.
Absolutely.
Shall we go?
Yeah, we probably should. But I have to go before 4:30, so I got a little bit more time because I was gonna say I don't have to go pick up the dog.
She's a little closer.
The dog is a little closer.
Yep. And the little one is a little closer.
Yeah. Yippers. All right.